Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Chainsaw Man Season 1, Episode 11. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Penultimate episode of the anime, / season of the anime, whatever the case may be. We're immediately picking up where the last episode left off with Aki meeting with the Future Devil. And I think it's so interesting because I kept seeing what the Future Devil looks like in the intro. I was like, what is that dancing tree looking thing? And it's like, yeah, it's also part of it. The reason why it's dancing in the intro is because it loves to dance. I was like, I love that it's probably like the silliest devil we've come across so far. I mean, every devil's got its quirk. I mean, obviously fucking Power's a major weirdo, so that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. But yeah, the fact is, it loves to dance, and it's like, yo, Aki, dance with me. And Aki's like, nah, man, I'm just here to make a deal. It's like, well, you're no fun. And the biggest question was going to be, what is the price that Aki's going to have to pay? And it's like, all right, stick your head inside of my open chest. That's the only way I'll be able to see your future. And it sees its future, and it's like, oh my God, you're going to have a freaking awesome death. Cool, I'm gonna stay in your right eye. It's like, so that's the price it's paying. Like, just being able to be around and see Aki's death is enough for it to be like, yo, that's all the price I need. Which I'm curious, does Aki ever need to pay any future price going forward? Or is it just kind of like maybe if he ever pushed the power, and it turns out the power is exactly what I thought it was, but I was like, maybe there's going to be more to it. It's like, nope, you get to see a little bit into the future, so it is like foresight. I think last episode I called it insight, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it gives you foresight. Kind of reminds me of the Nicolas Cage movie Next. I swear there was something else that utilized that element of you only being able to see like a few minutes into the future. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I remember that being an ability, and I just can't remember what property it was that I remember that. I know there's an entire manga built around that a person being able to see like a couple seconds into the future. Maybe it's on like 1 second. It's a webtoon manhwa about a firefighter. I can't remember I think it might be just called 1 second. I can't remember. It's kind of something similar to that. But yeah, that's all it took for Aki. But yeah, that's all he's getting from the Future Devil. Hey, Foresight is like a crazy ability, but like he doesn't get anything else from the Future Devil. So it's like only being able to say like probably like only like a couple. We don't know the exact time frame. Feels very befitting too that right he's dying because of the curse situation, and now he's also got so two sides about time. One is about, well, being able to see a little into the future, which is ironic considering how little of a future you have left. And also, Future Devil's interest in you is how you're going to die. But Aki doesn't care. As long as he accomplishes his mission of going after those responsible for his family's death, he doesn't care what happens to him or anyone else around him. So, as I brought up last episode, I think he felt bad about the Himeneo thing, but it's like at this point, you got to double down. And it's like, if I don't, then it would have all been for nothing. So we also see he's just using a regular sword now. So I guess like because he has the foresight ability, he's going to not keep the cursed sword on him anymore. I guess he's just stashing it away because he has such little time left that I guess he's like, I will only bring it out under the most extreme of extreme emergencies. But yeah, after that, he's immediately obviously thrown in the field, him and the others. We'll get to that in a second. But the two drop him off. Well, they're dropping him off and they're going back to Kyoto. And Home Dude's talking about, like, do you really think he's like looking at you, considering everything that went down? You're not up to snuff to go up against the Gun Devil, the thing that's kind of killed millions all around. It's like, you're not up to par for that thing. He's like, I mean, he's like, me and the other person here, like, we have our own reasons being here kind of connected to the Gun Devil. But it's like, it's kind of like irks my nerves because you're at like the main character of a manga, like, oh, you'll persevere and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Aki's like, I know I'm going to sound weird and crazy to most people. And he's like, maybe if eventually you'll just have to sit back and watch. If I end up dying against the Gun Devil, then you can laugh in. Until then, I'm still going to see this through. I have to see this through because what else is there? Like, I need to take down the Gun Devil. So, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you might kind of piss me off a little bit, but remember this, the whole element of those who stay in a special division are a little bit crazy. So I don't know if that's kind of being like, I'm rooting for you, kid, because you're crazy, or it's like, be careful and watch your back because everyone else in this group is just as crazy as you are. It could be all of the above. So all that's happening. We have Power and Dingy finishing up their training to an extent. What's his name? Was it Kishibe? I believe it was Kishibe, their teacher. I'm curious, does a manga cover, like, did they consolidate it and not show you the actual training? Because it would have just been them getting brutally murdered over and over again. I wonder, does the manga expand on that? Like, you actually get to see some of that training, or is it kind of like shortcut it just like it is in the anime as well? I'm curious. But yeah, Kishibe's like, all right, you guys have done well enough to the point, like, the last time we see it, it's like he's got blood on his face. So it's like, you did something. So going forward, it won't be every day of me killing you. It'll be like a once a week thing, which are like, cool, accomplishment. But he's like, yeah. So Special Division 4 is moving forward. If things do not work out, you guys will be hunted. You know, back to just being on the hunted list. And he's like, I will kill you in a real fight. Which Denji's like, well, go ahead. He's like, the fact of the matter is, I'll even show you mercy because you taught me how to be stronger. He's like, the fact of the matter is, you got me one step closer to, like, basically being able to have sex with Makima. And just like Kishibe doesn't say anything, he just has a stoic look. And I'm like, I guess this is his first time in all the time they've been training. He found out, I guess he never knew Denji's motivations for doing all of this. So other than that, we catch up with Makima, who's meeting with the leader of a Yakuza. I don't know if he's necessarily tied to the Yakuza that Denji was connected to. Maybe it's like a different Yakuza. But essentially, the snake devil woman, what's her name? It was something with an S. What was it, like? Samatari or Sakatari? I can't remember her name now. But snake devil woman. Apparently, she's connected to them. And so Makima's like, cool, I'm going to need the name of everyone in your, like, that you know of that has ties to the Gun Devil. Because basically, if you pay 20,000 yen to the Gun Devil, it will give you guns and money. It's so interesting being like, oh, wow, so a devil wanting money is interesting. It gives me Shin Megami Tensei vibes, or, you know, Persona vibes in that regard of like, oh, yeah, like, you might have to kind of pay off like a persona or a demon to join your side. I mean, I guess that's kind of like, I never thought about that with the whole Aki negotiation, because this was our first time actually seeing the negotiations happen. I didn't even think about that till now. I was like, all right, because that's a pretty decent part of Shin Megami Tensei, whether it's Persona or whatever, like, you know, making deals, negotiating with the demons and stuff. So I'm surprised I never thought about that until just now. But yeah, like sometimes there's like money exchanged and stuff like that. So it makes you wonder, why is the Gun Devil after money? I guess it's like you're after power and influence and you need that. I wonder what the Gun Devil actually looks like. I wonder, does it have like a humanoid-ish form, or does it I mean, the devils tend to look what they look like, but I wonder, is it like a humanoid-ish looking gun? Like, does it look like a cannon or what? So that was interesting. But anyway, going back to it, Makima is talking to this Yakuza, and she's like, no, I don't just want the people you're related to. I want, like, every, like, criminal outfit amongst the Yakuza. But he's like, yo, I think you're overstepping your boundaries. He's like, the fact is, you should come with more respect, because you guys protect Japan, this public safety. You protect Japan from the devils. We Yakuza protect Japan from foreign mobs. So it's like, yo, like the Russian mob or this mob, they are, we're angels in comparison to them. So you want to kind of like show respect and know your place. You're coming here trying to step on our toes. And then Makima went all full badass. It's like, oh, here's this plastic bag, this paper bag. It's like, what's in that? Oh, it's the eyes of loved ones, brothers, sibling, like anyone that's important to people in this room. And it opens up, and it sure as hell is. I was like, wow, Makima, we already knew was off, but it's like, yeah, this is, I guess shouldn't be too surprising. And she's like, I do know a person that can put these back, so all you have to do is agree to my terms, and I'll introduce you to that person. And one guy tried to attack Makima. She just looks at him, and eventually his nose starts bleeding, and then he kind of dies. I don't think that's them passing out. That might be him dying. So I don't know if she's giving him an aneurysm or something or what. Obviously, it's connected to her. I mean, I wonder is that how she got the names beforehand? I don't think this them because obviously it happens later on in the episode when Aki's going up against some other Yakuzas. They end up dropping dead. So and because Makima got the list of names because she just needs a name. But I wonder did she sacrifice people in that room? Like did she need to blindfold them in this case to do it, or was it fine not doing it? Once again, Makima's whole deal is a enigma and mystery. Did think it was interesting when she was drinking with Kishibe, and he was talking about how he's like, normally I'd kind of drink more and more when we lose more hunters, but he's like, now I never thought I'd actually care about my toys, but he cares for Denji and Power, and he's like, yeah, they're kind of my students. So I'm surprised I'm starting to actually care about devils and fiends when I never would have beforehand. But he does talk to Makima about, you knew ahead of time that this was going to happen and you let it happen. And she was like, kind of like, yes. That was kind of implied last episode. No, episode 9. You know? And it's like, why would she do that? And he's like, I'm fine with, like, it sucks. But at the end of the day, you can sacrifice as many of us as you need to, as long as what you're doing in the end, I don't care, like, what your plan is, as long as it is for the greater good of humanity. And he's like, and that's the only reason I would let the large amount of deaths that are on your hands because you let it happen. But she's saying, like, basically she tried to spin it to be like, well, because of that, now my whole goal is always about protecting the most amount of people, no matter how much I have to sacrifice to get there. But she's like, basically the events being what they are have led to her being in a more powerful position, and it puts Division 4 in a better position. Now we can protect that much more people because of this. It kind of put her in a more powerful position, saying that this was all kind of like for the greater good. But Kishibe calls her out, calling her a liar, and she just smiles. So I'm like, still don't know what her ultimate goal is then, too, like what she wants out of all of this. It is interesting. I think it's fascinating that obviously that scene with Makima is like right after this scene with Denji telling, like, oh, he wants to get with Makima. And I guess it's kind of like, I guess that's also another thing of like, yeah, I'm kind of concerned about Denji and Power, but you concern me because I don't know, I can't read you. You are such an enigma. So, but obviously the new formed special Division 4 is being sent out. Basically, they're going after the Yakuza grandson. He's they just call him Samurai Sword, and then like obviously Snake Devil Woman, because they're still planning on wiping out the rest of the division and also taking Denji's heart. So it's like obviously Snake Woman is like, yeah, it's still got to be concerned about Makima. As long as she's alive, she's an issue, and as we see, she still presents the ever. That's why it was kind of imperative that you take her out, which I love. That was a whole point she made up with Kishibe, being like, I was attacked too. It's like, yeah, but you were perfectly fine. You were probably never in any danger, whatever your circumstances are. Either way, the new form division, it seems like there's only 2 humans on it so far. It's Aki and Kobeni, and the rest of the team are fiends, with the exception of Denji, whatever his circumstances being what he is, but he's kind of the closest thing to a fiend, but not really. Either way, they're so excited to show off the like merits of their training, and Kobeni's just reluctantly there, because even Denji's like, if you want to go, just go. But I wonder, did Makima force her hand or something? Like, why is she still here? I wonder, does she feel like some kind of allegiance to those that died, that she feels like, well, I kind of have to stick around now? I'm not sure, but either way, we get introduced. Oh, I also forgot the grandson, Samurai Sword. He has zombies because his dad, everyone that like basically was massively in debt and I guess couldn't pay off the debt or was never in a position to it, or so great a debt they'd never be able to pay it off, he zombified him. It's like, well, we already knew he had a connection with the zombie devil, but he overplayed his hand. Him and his entire crew got zombified, and now all these like zombies they had in reserve are going to be there. Anyone that's bitten by it will turn into a zombie, specifically a human. Granted, like I said, we only have 2 humans on the squad, so it makes sense to send in the Freak Show, I guess. So we have the Shark Devil. Because we see a lot of them in the intro. Like, we just don't get a lot of time with them in the intro. But yeah, we have Shark Devil, who can pass through any surface, which is pretty cool. And he can temporarily transform, at least his head. I wonder, can the rest of his body transform as well? But yeah, he turns into a giant shark and he's eating the zombies. We have the Violence Devil, or the Violence Fiend, who has to wear a special mask that's constantly pumping poison in, and it's like that mask is never meant to come off, which means eventually that mask is going to come off at some point in the story, and we're going to see what the hell that unleashes. But like being known as the Violence Fiend, which is interesting. Normally, devils get weaker the moment they become a fiend, but this thing apparently kept a lot of its strength. So a lot of punches, a lot of kicks. And then we also have the Angel Devil, which a single touch from it will drain away your life force. Which is interesting pairing to be on the same team as someone who has the future devil, but also like the curse situation. Not unless that curse situation has been nullified now that he's made a contract with, I don't think it is. I mean, I assume he still has it. Like I said, he just doesn't take the sword with him. But maybe upon making a deal with the future devil, you lose the cursed devil. I doubt it, but whatever the case may be. What I thought was so interesting, though, it reminds me of, if you've seen Ashura, or I guess read the light novel. I think there was a manga adaptation as well. But I'm blanking on its name. There's the kind of church dude. He has an angel by his side that kind of insta-kills anything. Like, it basically cuts the lifeline that any being has, to protecting this guy. So it kind of reminds me of that, where she just touches anything, and she's up there just chomping on a zombie head. And it's just like, oh, like, Aki gives her a napkin. She's like, are you not concerned? He's like, well, as long as there's a material that breaks the contact, it should be fine, right? So him, Power, and Denji are going to separate, trying to track down Samurai Sword and Snake Woman, which he ends up running into Snake Woman after running into some Yakuza. And she has her snake open its mouth and pops out Ghost Hand. So I guess, because she never, like, ate it all. She only, like, bit the head off, but we saw the head laying down. So I guess anything that the snake eats, it can fully materialize and make it its own. So she's using the Ghost Devil. So I guess, like, the Ghost Devil itself is dead because Himenio did go full out, so brought the entire Ghost Devil, and it got consumed. Like, its essence was eaten and copied inside of the snake, even though, like, its head was still there afterwards. But I guess the moment it disintegrated, it's like its essence got absorbed into the snake. So now, how effed up it is that Himenio's the devil he had, Himenio had a contract with, now Aki's got to fight, and it ends with him getting choked out because the foresight can only help him to some extent, because everything else is just pure him dodging and slicing. He has no extra oomph to him. It's just like he is kind of just a highly trained human being, and he's getting choked out. So the question becomes like, well, is that really happening, or is this his foresight showing him what's about to go down? Like I said, how far can he push it out? Is it going to be like, if you've seen the movie Next, spoilers, the whole, like, most of the movie is just, oh my god, my power to see into the future was pushed beyond, and I was able to see the possibility of what could happen unless I change things, yada yada yada. So I'm assuming maybe we get something like that with Aki, maybe not right now, but eventually. So the question then becomes like I brought up before, how far into the future can he see? It seems like a couple seconds, considering like the dodges and stuff, but maybe that's not him seeing in the future. Maybe that's just his really good perception, being able to time stuff. Or maybe, maybe that's him seeing into the future of him utilizing the eye a certain way and the power a certain way, and not working out for him. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, where this ultimately ends up leaving us with the season finale/finale. I'm excited to see how it all plays out, where it all goes, what the end result of this is, and what this potentially sets up for the future. So I'm very, very excited. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.